All right, guys. So I am going to just do this. I am a mess. I've got a wax. I got all kinds of crazy going on. In the future, I'll probably get a little bit more dolled up for my videos and whatnot. But this particular one, I just want to go ahead and do along with this. I am a mess today. Still, I got my nice Carolina shirt on while I'm working Carolina stuff. Um, the last drive of the half, drive number 6, nothing really happened. There was nothing to go over. No new formations or anything that I felt like the need to go over. It was like there was 30 seconds left on the clock. They were down at their own 25 to start, so it wasn't like we were expecting them to pull off anything there anyway. Nothing really of note went on. Um, so I'm going to use this opportunity to um, talk about that the first half. Okay. So far where I am with the first half, and this is all offense, of course. For the most part, a lot of things are going the way that I had seen them going. The formations and stuff that I had talked about. Jaheim Bell hasn't been in the backfield. A little surprising, considering I kind of thought that's kind of what they were doing. So far through a whole half, it's kind of like a little bit of wasted strategy from the last game that we were starting to incorporate Jaheim back there. I actually see a place for him now where I had critiqued initially, like, why is he back there? But now, now he's not back there. Like, okay. The choice to continue running Amari and Brown into plays to just put him in motion, and then we're not doing anything with him. And this is not a knock on Amari. And when I kept saying, I was like, who do we want there? Do we want Joyner or Amari and Brown? Okay, and how are we going to utilize them? And in all actuality, the more I kept watching the plays, I was like, okay, well, we're putting them in motion and potentially setting up a jet sweep. Now, I don't know if we're going to see a jet sweep in the second half, but for sure by now, if that's what the goal was in all of these plays that we kept running with Amari and like that, we need to do it, eventually. There was some questionable play calling in key situations, and that would be of concern if that doesn't get fixed. That's from I Satterfield and Beamer, I would say, together in some of that. They're gonna have to definitely discuss some of those things in those third down situations and whatnot. I do think that we should have probably taken the 3 when we were down 14 nothing. I know that people are like, well, it doesn't really help to get field goals. It does, because one thing we want to do is not get shut out as a team. I know that, right? A lot of people score against Georgia the last couple of years, guys. Okay, no moral victories or anything like that. Okay, but you got to get points where you can get them. Especially considering the play calling and the thought process to punt, with it, and when you're down there in similar situations, you weren't in a field goal situation later, but you were in their territory, and you call run plays on third downs and stuff like that were questionable. But the biggest thing as far as questionable for me was the sets they were doing, where they had like 3 wide receivers in the backfield with Spencer. That was a little strange. But past that, man, I liked Marcus's play calling. I know I showed, at the very end, like a play that I would have liked to have seen pick up like the first down there, and I don't know that Marcus doesn't have some plays like that in his playbook. He ran a run play, and, and I was just throwing that together, half thought. Trust me, after that video ended, and I was running out of space, so I had to end that one, by the way, the very last video for the last drive. I had to end the video, so I wasn't necessarily done with what I want to explain in that, but I felt like I got the point across, like what kind of play calls you want to see in certain, in that situation, especially, in a you've got to make this kind of situation. So, it's hard for me to fault Marcus Satterfield for going for runs there too. If he knew he was 4 down territory, it just, I don't know. The runs that were called were questionable, especially that second go around where you just ran two runs through where the tackle spots were supposed to be. You ran right, then you run left, and it's 3rd down and 4, and you're going to run right again for basically the same kind of play, and then you end up punting because you lose 3. Questionable, and some questionable things right there. But overall, guys, I mean, honestly, I came out of this feeling a lot better about our play calling. The play calling wasn't like scaring me in too much of an issue. A couple of the sets were, but I definitely identified. I mean, Spencer's messing up, guys. I hate to say it, because we have a lot riding on that kid. I think it's things that can get fixed. He's probably still just adjusting to the system. I mean, some of the things is, like I said, learning to step into the pocket. He's going to have to learn to do that, and use his pocket more effectively. So far through the first half, I only have a few times where I felt like the O-line had some breakdowns, really only like twice. Good news is they didn't result in sacks. Spencer did get the ball away and things like that. We haven't given up any sacks in the first half. Most every running play picked up good positive yards. So through the first half, our run game's actually been effective. We've picked up yards in the run game through the first half. So I'm going to continue obviously into the second half. See how things go. I may taper it down. This is a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's my first time doing it through like this. It's a lot of work, and I do want to do these for the offense and the defensive side of the ball. On that real quick, one thing we're going to talk about, because there's a lot of who's to blame, the offense, the defense, yada yada. It's definitely on both of them, guys. Listen, if you're yelling about Marcus Satterfield and you're not talking about Clayton White after 2 games, and that's not me putting either one of those guys in the hot seat. I'm just saying, if you're going to call out one, why aren't we calling out the other? And Marcus Satterfield's been fine, but I do want to point this out too, because you don't go too far back and go, oh, the defense let us down so bad in the first half. Remember, the offense has to score points too. Okay. As far as I see it, the defense did their job one more time than kind of two more times. They met them halfway. Let's give them 1.5. Okay, because the defense did stop Georgia, made them punt. Okay, and the offense doesn't respond to that. We have to punt it away. And then we get the ball back, or they get the ball back. The defense stops them again, holds them to a field goal. That's a stop. There's still 30 seconds left on the clock, so it's not like they didn't have enough time to get another call in. We stopped them there and going into the end of the half, and hold them is 24-0, versus 28-0. And considering we had the ball first, we had just as many possessions, and technically, an extra 30-second possession there. And hey, you got to try to take advantage of that too, guys, in this situation. But I'm not going to harp on that 30 seconds that we didn't take advantage of. But what I'm saying is in fairness and equality, offense didn't score. They did not do their part the whole first half on every one of their possessions. They had 5 possessions. I'm not going to count the 6th one, okay? On 5 possessions, offense doesn't score. On 5 possessions for the defense, the first 3, they couldn't get a stop. So through the first 3 possessions for both teams were equal. Defense isn't getting stops. Offense isn't getting points. On the 4th drive, the defense gets a stop, and our offense doesn't get points, or vice versa, however you want to look at that. And also, On the 5th drive, we hold them to 3. And our offense didn't give us 3 back. Or take that opportunity to get 7. Okay? So defense got a 1.5 out of 5. Okay? Offense got 0 out of 5. I don't know how much, how else you want me to say that. That's my thoughts for right now, guys. We're gonna be setting up the channel, I think, for my own little YouTube channel, and it's not gonna stop me from wanting to do content with Chris or anybody else, really. I want to certainly work with any of the other podcasts and stuff out there and help them with my stats and what I bring and things like that. That'll do it for right now. Okay, just my thoughts, I guess, on the first half. Nothing much more for me to say. Like I said, in all fairness, I thought the play calling was pretty damn good. Okay, I'm not unimpressed with the play calling. I'm not like, oh my God, what was Satterfield doing? Except for in those key situations where we need to get first downs or something like that, and then I had a little bit of questioning about, choices to go for a field goal, or, if you didn't go for a field goal earlier, why are you punting it now, kind of thing. And those are on Beamer as well. So, so that's, we got to keep in mind these guys, man, this is Coach Beamer's first head coaching job. I don't think most of these guys have worked in the SEC. Clayton White's a great defensive coordinator, but that SEC, man, it takes some getting adjusted to. And you're going against guys, listen, I know you don't want to hear it. You're going against a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense. Just cringe at that. And then take the moral victories out of what I've shown you guys, because from the offensive standpoint, we had some chances. We had some chances in the first half so far. So I thought I was going to have a really hard time finding some positivity out of this. And I don't know, man. I still think all roads lead to Lexington. I think that's when our season is going to start, guys.